Well, hello. Good evening, and welcome to the Bush League podcast. I got nothing.
Tyson coming live from Real Sports.
It looks like a Toronto Maple Leaf blew up and threw up in there.
What do you mean?
Where's the milk and Oreo sponsor?
Yeah, that jersey doesn't say
blue
milk
and white.
there.
I thought I couldn't love them anymore until Milk and Oreos came along.
Like, I was talking to another guy here. He's a Leafs fan, and they did that whole like they updated their social media pictures to remove the O's or whatever, and it got like the whole internet talking. Right? What could it mean? What is it? When there's theories and all this, and I was like, good for the Leafs. They're as bone dry, boring, and an old school as it gets. They do nothing fun. They're so boring. They don't like lean into like any of their fan base at all. They don't do anything fun. And like I'm like, okay, here we go. And so for a couple days, gets everyone talking, and it's like, hey, our new sponsor, Oreo. And it's like all of that was for a sponsor. All right, now really back to your regular scheduled tie straightening, original 6, can't do anything too crazy. We still think Lou Lamoriello's watching us, ways about us. Am I wrong? I don't even I don't have a problem with the Leafs, but I'm just like,
I think you do by the way you're talking.
I have a problem with their social media staff. Like, they're not fun at all. What do they do?
There's fun stuff. Whatever changed, it's funny you say that. I think they got some stuff coming down the pipe because they leaked a whole bunch of stuff. So they had 2 social media days at training camp where the players had to come in and do stuff. But they took some pictures and posted them. But you know how like we won't see some of those videos to a month or 2 months from now?
Yeah.
Right? Because they'll slowly leak them. But they looked like they were having fun or they were playing games with them or they were... You know what I mean?
Which is great.
All the time.
Which is at least something.
Yes.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like,
they did a little bit of that last year, but this year it looked like they upped it even more. Like one of the games they played was they had a long table and all these cups were taped to the other side of the table and some had milk, some had hot sauce, some had ketchup, some had, you know what I mean? Melted butter, but they were rolling the Oreo down the table and whatever cup it landed in, they had to eat it. Like you could.
Oh, that's mean.
So those videos are coming.
and so have they done anything like that before?
Last year they started, but not a lot. But it looks like they're like doubling down on even more this year. But then on the flip side, Jay, when you say they don't do anything fun, it does feel a little kiddish when it's like, hey, we pay you $13 million a year. Come roll this Oreo down the plastic table.
Yeah. No. I get it. Yeah, 100%. But like, it's not even maybe so much the stuff with the players, because I get it too. I mean, I've seen every team has that. They play the games and like, I'm like, okay, I mean, you didn't need to make a grown man do that for minor games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just mean like, now I know this is a particular example, but like the Carolina Hurricanes for like a couple of years, super funny. Like they were poking fun at people that they were just chirping. Jerks. Yeah, that was great. I mean, they worked like the jerks thing. They leaned into that. It was like, now that's, whoever that was running that was, that was really kind of out there, but it's like, they don't even have to just some more engagement online other than like we've recalled Callie Rosen from the Toronto Marlies.
And
for
to be doing
games.
all the stuff Carolina was doing and still have a winning record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
It is possible to win and
be funny at the same time.
Have some fun.
And entertaining.
Yeah. It was just like,
I wonder if part of it is, I don't know if
being
laziness.
Owned by your corporate broadcaster.
Yeah, part of it. And then I don't know, Gary. I don't know that laziness is the right word, but you know how you can get complacent
in a rut
when it's like, hey, I know we're not doing anything and we're still sold out. So
Yeah, and that's,
you know what I mean? You don't have to do anything because you're selling out every game.
You don't have to do the work because it's already doing the work for you. You know,
It's already happening.
I get that.
right. I find it's some of the smaller American markets and stuff where you'll see that kind of.
Well, they have
more
to.
But I mean, if this was, if we were talking cars, when's the last time you saw a Ferrari commercial?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Because they don't need one. Because they're Ferrari.
Yeah, it's free. But you see,
they're very regal.
Can it get boring? Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw one of their drivers come out to the press conference and start dropping F-bombs?
Oh, here we go. And when have they had to do community service?
Now, the thing about that is F1 themselves just constantly dropping these highlight videos of them on the radio talking back and forth with F-bombs dropping left and right.
Yes.
They don't care at all.
They just bleep them out and F1 themselves share it.
Yes.
And then one of them says something in an interview, fine. Like it's you just posted a bunch of clips with them swearing.
You bleep them out on the radio, like.
Has no one else heard Gunther on Drive to Survive? Holy cow.
What do you mean on Drive to Survive? Anything he does.
Like, but then a player like
Twitch.
you know what I mean? Or a driver slips up during an interview and they're like in the heat of the moment and their adrenaline's still running. Like, anyway, I'm with you, Gary. That's wild. And on a side note, would you get the camera at a poor Ricardo's face?
Yes.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Asking him those questions like that and stuff. Of course you know.
Hey, how does it feel to... This might have been your last F1 race because you're going to be replaced. The guy
is this the question that'll make a grown man cry?
No. And then Cameron, I don't know if you saw...
That'll make a grown man cry?
I don't know if you saw the camera that kind of followed him, but like he switched reporters. You know how they work their way down that media wall?
Yeah.
And another reporter then asked him, after they asked him that, because I saw the question you just said, another reporter said, I couldn't help but notice that after you parked the car, you remained in the car with your head down for quite some time. What were you thinking? You idiot. What do you mean, what was he thinking?
Well, I was
you know what I mean?
thinking
Like everybody knows it's probably his last drive. He won't be back. This was his second try.
Yeah.
So like this will be it. What do you mean, what was he thinking? He just raced probably his last race.
Listen,
like
if any sport has taught us anything, when you think you're down and out, and you're done for the rest of your life.
Bump out the Mexican and give him the seat, right?
He just needs to be sponsored by a large Mexican telecom provider.
Do you know what though?
That's exactly it. Because if
Claro is actually one of the actual world's biggest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
it's
like
insane.
not in North America. I mean, in the world, because we do their web hosting, and they have they are the largest one that of anybody. They're bigger than AT&T. They're bigger than Verizon. They're bigger than the two of those companies combined, and they still are like 3/4 more than those guys.
But
so big that they outsource their web hosting.
Yeah. They're so big they outsource their web hosting.
Everybody outsources, Gary.
Touché, Gary. Touché.
Guess what? We have 95% of the Canadian market for hosting. Like, that's crazy.
It makes you wonder though. Like I understand there's a whole there's a lot of pros and cons to contracting something out versus doing it in-house and those costs. Yep. So I guess that's just way cheaper to have to pay someone to manage it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Especially if you have someone who has experience, and really those guys are going from telephones and then they're like, I don't know how to do web hosting, or you know what I mean? It's just easier for them to do it that way.
Yeah.
Are you saying you could have got us tickets to the Grand Prix, the Canadian Grand Prix?
No, trust me. If I had tried to fan sponsors for them, I would have done everything I could have to get them.
I would have worn a Checo Perez jersey, sure. No problem.
Yeah, you just wear this jersey. Not a problem, sir.
Just hold their website hostage.
Jeremy's got the Claro tattoo in his back. See?
Yeah, you could do some some hold them hostage on some stuff. Oh, it'd
But
be a
it
shame
is-
if this
it is-
information was to get released.
It's wild to me that there's more talk about Ricciardo losing his seat in a far lesser car than Checo, whose teammate took second, but you take 10th in the same car.
Yep.
So, like, there's a 4-position difference between Ricciardo and his teammate, and there's a 9-position difference.
But to be fair, he's probably bringing 9 to 10 million himself.
Yes, but
That
that's
is
not
it.
fair. That is it,
That's
but that's
it.
not fair.
That's what's being
That is
run.
100% why, but that's not fair.
Listen, Formula One has been built on
Lance Stroll.
really professional drivers and pay drivers. There's been guys that have just paid their way. Stroll. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Guys that just had a ton of money, had a reasonable amount of talent. Because really, we have to admit, anybody in Formula One, you have to have some talent. You have
Because
to have a
in
little.
like manner, I think, and correct me if I'm not, Stroll took 15th and Fernando took 7th in the same car.
Yep. But
in the
here's
same
the
car.
problem with that. Here's the flip side to that one. And I always like to do this.
I'm sorry, folks. We're not an F1 podcast. This just happened
We're not.
because it was
If
a
you have-
race on the weekend.
If you have, if you have two guys, you always have to have a 1 and a 2. You always have to have a 1 and 2. If you have 2 superstars in your team,
Unless you're McLaren.
yeah. Let's not bring up the 80s about McLaren and have 2 guys that were great and now they basically
now,
just beat on each
Not
other.
the 80s.
Okay, they did it in the 90s.
They have 5 wins this year, 3 to one driver and 2 to the other.
Yes. But when McLaren was winning everything in the 80s,
Clear number 2.
there was no number 2, and then they got in a huge fight, and then they crashed each other out, and then one guy wins, and the next year one guy leaves the team because he said, I can't work with this team. It's like, no, you're not number 1. You want to be 1, but they're not letting you be number 1.
You are number 6.
You are number 6. Yeah, and then the next year you go to another team, and then your ex-teammate crashes into you, and he wins the title. Nah.
You guys remember Gary yelling that at church? You remember that?
I
So
remember
like
Gary yelling a lot of stuff at church.
there's an opening of like the opening of the song The Prisoner, right? There's this whole dialogue of like, who are you? The new number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6. And the whole premise is I'm not a number. I'm a free man. So all I said was, so we didn't know, but we're downstairs in the basement. They're about to serve this big church supper. And like we're all sitting together, right? And I think I muttered under my breath just as the pastor's about to pray. So the pastor's not praying yet, right? All I said was, you are number 6. The pastor says, let us bow our heads. And Gary, as loud as could be, because everyone went from talking to quiet, right? So keep in mind, when Gary starts, everyone's at like room level, and Gary goes, I am not a number. I'm a free man. But everybody had just gone quiet because the pastor said, and let us pray.
It's all about timing, eh, Gary?
Oh, only Gary.
I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
Didn't you like half get up and like lean over the table and like point at him too?
Yep.
Oh, he was right into it. He was ready to, and so Heather's sitting next to Gary. Gary's not embarrassed at all. She's all kinds of red.
He was just like, I think you were saying it like to me because I think I was sitting beside you and it was kind of like half under your breath as like a joke, like
You are number 6.
And it'd be like you're looking down and you're both going to be like ha ha ha, and then here comes Gary. I am a free man.
I was we were in a drama once, and they wanted like a mob kind of thing in the background, so they got a bunch of us to record just a lot of kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people there, so everybody's kind of doing their thing, and I'm yelling at stuff. And it was right around the time that they got rid of the penny So just as they're saying to stop, they say stop, and it's just my voice carrying over top of everything else. Government, you cannot take my penny away. Government.
Have I never heard that?
I never heard that.
Where can I hear that?
I want to hear it too.
I don't know if it was Nate that recorded it.
Oh gosh, I wonder if he still has it.
I'd be walking around, and anybody who was there would just look at me and go, "Government."
Boys, I just missed Nathan somehow. We were at the same show and everything, and we just didn't find each other. It was really strange.
In Fredericton?
We were both at the Wooten brothers, and I was standing in the front, and then I saw on Facebook he took a picture from the back, and then I was kind of looking for him. The dude's like 6'7". Like, where is he? And I just couldn't find him. And then by the time I talked to him online, the show was over, and he would have been gone home to beat the crowd or whatever. But
it was so random. I didn't know any of that was going on. I didn't even think about Harvest Jazz. I get a message from you. Yeah, I'm going to Fredericton. I see you get a lesson from Victor Wooten. And I was like, what?
So it wasn't what I thought, but it was still pretty cool. So he put on a master class. But like the schools brought like 1,000 literally little kids. And you either would have been proud of me or ashamed of me. So like, I know all these kids are coming, and I do not give a rip that I'm 6'5". Me and Terry Whalen grab that front guardrail, and we're not moving. You're all going to have to sit down behind me because Victor Wooten's here. Standing in the front.
This is my spot. There are many other like it, but this is mine.
Yeah. So when I walked in, true story, we were there a little bit early, and we brought some kids. So the kids were working with these songwriting camps and stuff. They're from all over the province. And so I was chaperoning, and I brought these kids in. And who did I see? And I feel like such an idiot now. Like, I feel so stupid when I tell you this. There's a guy with real long hair talking to somebody, right? And there's Adam Phillips. And I don't think I've seen Adam in 15 years. So I was like, oh my gosh, well, there's no one else here. I'm going to go say hi to Adam Phillips. And as I'm talking to Adam, and he kindly says like, holy cow, Tyson, how have you been? And we're making small talk and everything. He says, Nate will be there later. Do you still talk to the guys? Say hi to Jeremy for me, blah, 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 blah. And kind of like, yeah, Nate goes to Hope City now and all that, you know what I mean? Making small talk. I realize, oh my gosh, the guy standing to my right, like 2 feet away, that's Victor Wooten. That's Victor Wooten. I say nothing. Like an idiot. You know how I told you I'm usually good at these things? I carry on this conversation with Adam Phillips, realizing in my peripheral vision is Victor Wooten having a conversation with this other guy.
But did he know? Did you let on to him?
No. I just carried on the conversation with that. And like, I didn't, when I went to say hi to Adam, I didn't go over knowing Victor Wooten was standing there. I didn't even see who was standing there. I was just saying hi to Adam. And then I realized, no, Adam is Victor Wooten's handler for the weekend. And Victor Wooten's standing right here. And I didn't snub him like Jordan Rudess, but I'm...
Yeah, I was just going to say, you didn't snub him like Jay, right?
Yeah, so Cameron, just so you know, like my top 3 bass players of all time is Victor Wooten's one of them. And I'm like within 2 feet of him, and I just...
You never said a word to him?
But the other thing was, he's in a conversation.
Oh, that's different.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to stand here awkwardly and stare either. I'm talking to Adam, and then Adam's going to see after.
Just stare at him.
Trip and fall.
If you had a thought about it.
But they were talking, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, and you know how like while you're carrying one conversation on, you're thinking about all these other thoughts in your mind. Like, do I interrupt? Do I stick out my hand? Do I say hi? Do I not? Do I pretend I'm just, do I play it cool? Oh, he's walking away. He's gone.
And he's spent.
Oh, man.
When I meet my idols, I just immediately trust fall. Just fall into their arms, see if they catch you.
That would have been a good idea.
You can see Gary going with the hand in the forehead.
He is a short man. I would have destroyed him. He's not a tall man.
Can you see that in the news? A 6'4" man fell on Mr. Wooten today.
The Wooten Brothers concert is canceled.
He could have like
Broken arms.
supported you with his finger dexterity alone.
Oh man,
I
yeah.
think.
At one point, he did this like massive double walk down. I know you guys know what I mean, like do 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 do. You know what I mean? And I realized I kind of looked at Terry, and I'm like, did he just use one finger for that whole thing? He's like, yep. Like just no, just dude, like the whole way. And anybody else that didn't play would have no idea what he just did. But that's what he did. Just didn't use the. You know what I mean? Like.
You know what?
Ridiculous.
I just realized what happened the last time you saw one of your favorite bass players. What did you go home and do?
I went home and I bought a bass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a, you know.
So you're saying like Kung Fu, the legend continues. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just kind of clued into things that might happen.
If you know, you know.
That was one of my favorite quotes from this podcast.
Your brain works in mysterious ways, son.
One of my favorites.
I never even thought of that.
It's like, I don't know what episode it is, but he said, John, my young, waved his hand over me, and I went and bought a six-string bass. Oh, I just love that so much.
And from the same guy at the same store. So what's meant to be is meant to be.
Potentially.
It's funny because I was talking to Michael George, right? And he didn't really remember me. And then when I told him what he bought, he's like, I remember that bass.
Yeah.
Really?
Because he had
Don't
it hanging in
remember
the wall. I
faces,
don't think
but
it's
I
every
remember
day you
I
bring in a
remember the
6-string
bass.
TRB, right? So like it's, you know what I mean? Like why would you stock a 6-string? Like it's.
Big, yeah, obviously because you knew he could sell them.
All the Maritimers coming back from that Dream Theater show.
Yeah.
There was a big surge.
You should have. Yeah, you should have stocked multiple. He should have had the green signature there. That's what he should have had.
Right.
Yeah, with the weird inlays that like look like DNA or something going up the. I remember. Wild.
Yep. They got a new album coming out.
Yep.
And they're
Going on tour.
going on tour
I am.
in North America.
I got to double check. I'm 90% sure I'm away.
For both of them. 3 of them. There's 3. There's
They've never come in March. It's always later.
The first one we went to was March. That was Nate's birthday.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say
it was like late March, right? It was not March
Yeah,
break.
it's like
Yeah, it
20
was like-
something.
we had like winter jackets on in the pictures.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
But,
she's did.
We had winter jackets on, but there was like no snow on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Well, that could be up to December the last couple of years.
There was one time it was April.
Yeah.
We say one time. We've got how many times have we gone to Dream Theater?
3, right?
3?
No, I think he's went 4, didn't he?
I think
Twice
3.
in
I think
Montreal and once in
Once
Quebec
in
City.
Quebec. No,
And Gary, you went another
Twice
time,
in
didn't you?
Quebec City
I've been twice in Quebec City.
and once
Oh,
in
sorry.
Montreal.
Yes,
We did the
Yeah.
Colisée and we
The
did that
Colisée.
theater.
And then the Bell
we
Center.
did the Octavarian tour. We did the Astonishing show. And was the other one an anniversary tour?
The other one was right after
Dream Theater, self-titled.
the self-titled
Yeah.
album. Yeah.
But they played a little bit of everything. That show.
And I went to Mangini's first one with Heather.
Yeah. So you've been to 4 of them, right, Gary?
I've been to 4, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I have been to none.
want to make it
Sorry.
5? Cam, you got to come so you can bring the snacks with you.
I'll have to double
We'll
check.
get ribs. We'll bring them back.
I'll have to double check dates.
Only if I can get them from the Baton Rouge.
In similar news, but not similar music, on Friday this week, so probably it'll be after this show was released, I imagine, Oasis is going to announce their North American tour dates.
So tell me, honestly.
I don't understand that at all.
Tell me honestly, if no matter what happens, I have a feeling one out of the four of us is going to wind up at one of those concerts. I'm just saying. Tyson's going to have to. Yeah. So I went over Friday night to Tyson's, me and Katie. Anyway, we're sitting as soon as I sit down in the chair and I'm like, listen to the music. Now, we all know I don't know music. Everybody knows that. It's a given.
That's not true. You know a very specific, particular few bands.
I do,
Skinners.
but Tyson will verify this. I turned and looked. I go, that Oasis? Tyson just, it's right. It's like for once he was kind of proud that I actually knew someone.
And it was like a random, like it wasn't Wonderwall or anything. You know what I mean? It was like I think it was Songbird was playing, and he's like, "Is that Oasis?" It's like that a boy. That a boy.
There you go. I have many music moments, but that was one.
Did you get a tattoo with him?
That's been there a while. The worst part
so.
is, so the guy who does mine was joking like, so when I was there last time, I was getting David Bowie over here or whatever, and I was there last time, and he goes, "So Oasis is back together," and I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Wasn't the whole point of your broken clock that they're never going to get back together?" And I said, "Yeah."
Nothing like your tattoo artist to call you out, eh?
Well, he wasn't even, it was like, on the Be Here Now album, they had this faceless clock everywhere that had no arms on it. Like it didn't matter what time it was just a clock with no arms on it. And so like that is the clock and it's identical to the clock, but I had to make it broken with the Oasis logo right there because they were broke up, right? So I guess it doesn't really matter, but
they'll break up again before the tour is done.
Yeah.
There is betting odds in Vegas as to how soon they'll break up.
Vegas, seriously, they will bet on anything.
Well, I did see one interview though with Noel, and they asked like, is it a big contributing factor to the band getting back together that it seems like that Liam seems a lot more mature now? He seems to have stopped his shenanigans from when you were together before. And Cameron, he goes, "Well, I'd hope so. He's 51."
Like, oh boy.
Oh yeah, I imagine he grew up. Like he's in his 50s and has kids that are adults. So yeah, kind of like. I would hope he's not doing the same things he was doing when he was 23. Like that would be.
One would hope.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
the boys, I don't know how I'm going to go.
And then they went to the Jane's Addiction concert.
Oh my gosh, that was wild. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see that.
No.
Oh my land, Gary, go ahead and tell.
What was it? It was in Boston, was it?
Or Dave Navarro.
So the middle of the concert, they're playing, and Perry Farrell just walks over and starts like fighting Dave Navarro in the middle of the concert.
What?
Mid song.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Dave's just got back together. And Dave, to be fair, Dave doesn't hit him back or anything. He eventually kind of shoves him. But you know how there's a difference between a push and a shove?
Oh, yeah.
Like a push is like, let's go. But a shove is like, get off me. Like, what's wrong with you? It was kind of like he's holding his guitar and he one hands him like, Perry, you know what I mean? And then here comes security flying out. Oh, yeah.
And so then Perry's wife comes out and like was saying that, it was the stage noise. He's been complaining to the band about all the stage noise, and he has tinnitus from the concert, and he's like straining his voice trying to sing over top of the instruments and stuff.
Yeah, that the monitors are too loud.
Yeah. So
you're shoving your lead guitarist because the monitors are too loud?
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm literally watching it.
So Dave Navarro came out and said and apologized on behalf of the band that not only is the tour over, but like they're done. They just got back together. They've done how many shows, Gary? Not just a couple.
It's the handful.
And they're done. They're done. They can't do it.
How did I miss this?
And let's be real. Perry needs it more than Dave does.
Yeah.
Dave's got 20 other projects. He didn't need to do this. Like, he turned down Ink Masters and stuff, I think, to go back on tour with Jane's Addiction. Wild. Wild.
He just loses his mind, eh?
Mhm.
He goes over and like punches him in the side or something.
Oh, his whole facial expression changes and everything. Like, he just loses it.
Yikes.
Holy cow, man.
Yep.
He's apologized and everything since, but it's pretty nuts.
Oh, man. Pretty wild.
I can't stop watching it. Sorry.
Sorry.
Jeremy's in the black hole.
He looks like he's singing. And then he just like all of a sudden turns and looks at Dave and then starts yelling at him.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
Lead singers, man.
Wow. Okay. All right. Speaking of Dave's, is that true? The Dave Grohl thing? Is that actually true? I've seen stuff that it's not true.
Buddy.
Didn't it come straight from him?
I guess it's time. I guess it's time I come out. Dave Grohl is my dad. It's been a long kept family secret. He's also the father of half the children I teach at the school.
Is that why anytime anyone's ever said the best around you, you just go, the best, the best, the best?
Yeah. I do know they refer to kind of like, like where the Rocky Mountains run down a pass, you got like BC and then Oregon and Washington, you know what I mean? In the Northern California. I do know that some refer to that as the Grohl Belt.
The Grohl Belt.
That's just sporadically down the west coast of North America. Yeah. No, jokes aside, that is a wild one.
Yeah.
Because that is a guy I've always kind of looked up to. Because like he's kept his nose clean, so to speak, and he's
and
lived the rock and roll lifestyle, but not, you know what I mean? Like he spends his weekends with his portable giant barbecue feeding the homeless down at Skid Row. Like that's who the guy you're talking about is here. Like it's
and
I don't know.
And like
feels icky.
Heard lots of stuff about him, like working with him, and he can be like pretty intense and stuff, but nothing like, there's nothing wrong with being a demanding.
The really good guys are intense and a little like he's intense about his music. He wants it a certain way. Like he can hear it in his head, and that's what he wants. Yeah,
I mean the guy's been on hit songs since the early 90s. So like, you gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I just saw something saying that actually wasn't him or something from his account or some kind of thing. Maybe that wasn't true.
No, I think it's him. I think it's
wow.
Yeah. I'd like that conspiracy to be true, but
yeah.
And I mean he owned it rather than it leaking out somehow.
He did,
and he just posted it and said it that. So Cam, I don't know if you saw it, but he just bluntly, so they're off tour now, they're taking a break, and then he posts that for those of you not aware, blah, 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 blah. He just welcomed a new daughter into the world outside of his marriage.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, I know what you're talking about now. I was like, wait, this story sounds familiar. Yeah.
And that's just how he worded it, and blah, 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 blah. And he's asking for the forgiveness and trying to earn the trust back of his wife and children. But he plans to try to be a good father in this new child's life and has to own his mistakes, he said. And like he posted it.
Yep.
He just, like it's.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It is.
It's just not the guy you expected from, I guess. But
yeah.
After all these, they've been together a long time too.
Mm-hmm.
Like a very long time. So that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Never be able to sing the best of you again.
Or a hero.
Yeah.
I got another confession to make.
So,
again.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Oh, Pretender's another one.
Tender. Oh.
Oh boy, you could go down the.
Starting to see a theme here, boys.
One by one.
All my life I've been searching for something. Oh dear. So the Foo Fighters, that's a band that you could watch on a TV, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, so like
I have the Foo Fighters
TVs.
back here on my Frank. So
Bowie won't let you down.
oh, he won't let us. He can't. Because he's dead.
Oh dear.
He is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
Yeah,
So-
you're not wrong.
Have you, and the guys don't. So Cameron was even over the other night, and I refused to tell him this because I wanted to tell him this here. Right?
Oh yeah,
Cameron,
you said,
I was like, man, do I have a story for you? But I don't think I should tell you. I think I should save it.
yeah, you did say
So,
those words, and I totally
have
forgot
yous
when
ever-
you said that.
Have you ever purchased something? So even the stuff I told you off air before we even started will make sense to you in a second. Have you ever purchased something out of pure spite? Like you're almost mad?
I've
Gonna need to
spited
think on
myself
this one.
with things I've purchased.
You see, I don't think I've ever done that because I'm too cheap. So that would the cheapness it does my spitefulness.
No, you have bought something out of spite
I did.
because I know one of your stories, but it was something you were going to buy anyway.
I don't even know that.
When you got your Civic, did you not just go to another dealer to get it somewhere else because of how you were treated?
Oh yeah, that was.
Well, the story I have for you feels kind of like that, except there's like 20 levels to it.
Oh, yikes! Mine was pretty simple. Yeah, I didn't want the brown car. Yeah, I put a sold sign on that brown car. It's like
High
No,
fiving
I
each
wanted
other.
I
Sold the
wanted
brown
blue
one.
car.
Yeah.
I forgot about
no,
that.
you didn't. No, you didn't. I'm out of here. Drive somewhere else and go buy a car. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
But I know what you
yesterday.
mean. So in like manner, I was already, the plan was for me to buy one. You know what I mean? When I tell you this about, so when I say out of spite, I just did it in a different way out of spite because I was so mad. And you know, when your heart's already set on something, like I thought I was coming home with something today, and then they just screwed with you and you're almost, does that make sense to you? What I'm saying?
Yes, I
Like
get
my
it.
headspace was probably not right. Like when you walk into a Walmart, they should probably check your mental capacity right now. Like,
No, I don't think they should do that because they wouldn't let anybody
No.
in.
No, you're not wrong. So I don't know if I should say the name of the store.
don't
But I
have
very
to.
recently visited with my Uncle Leon.
Jeepers.
Uncle Leo.
I also told them that I'm co-host of a podcast and I can't wait to tell this on air. Because I was told that.
Really?
And they didn't say anything. So here I am.
Yeah.
So again, store shall remain nameless. It was really nice to see my Uncle Leon while I was visiting out of town there. I stopped by Leon's house for a minute to say hello because, you know, we don't get to see him.
Check out his furniture.
And his appliances.
So long story short is I had a plan for a while that I wanted a bigger 4K TV because I didn't have one upstairs in the living room. And my plan all along was I was saving money towards it. Like I was saving the odd Amazon gift card
Yeah.
because I thought, well, I won't spend that. I'll purposely, actually, I think I got that trick from Katie Cameron, was like, okay,
Yes.
well, if I buy gift cards and purposely set it aside for that, I can't go spend it on something else.
Yep.
And then I'll eventually just buy the TV I want off of Amazon.
That's how I always did it.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't real deep into it yet. And this flyer comes in the mail with just like these $250 off and $300 off thing and up to 50 equal payments, no interest. That's what the flyer says. I was like, 50 payments? No interest. And I'm sitting there doing the math. Like, if it's honestly no interest, you know what I mean? Now, don't laugh because you know there's fine print here coming, but that's not even what I'm mad over.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That's
here
not
it
even
comes.
what I'm mad over because I feel like, you know what I mean? Like the whole time I figured there'll be something, but like the something you're expecting isn't the something that's coming. So, the next day, because it's the beginning of their customer appreciation sale. It is the very beginning. And the deals are good enough. Like, is there going to be any left? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's one of those, like, if you're giving
You gotta get there
$300
first.
off and no interest or whatever, you better go get it. So Amanda messages me at work, and we have a cell phone thing now, right? So I can't see it till either lunchtime or the end of the day. Like, my phone's in my desk off or whatever. And she says, "Are we going?" And I said, "If you want to go right after work, great. But will you call and see what time they're open to? Because if we're going all the way to Bathurst, do you know what I mean? If I don't get out of here till 4."
Yeah. You got it.
Anyway, she calls. This is important to the story. Are you ready for this one? She calls ahead and says, "What time are you open until tonight?" And they said 6.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
We leave at 4. The construction was so bad on the highway going from Miramichi to Bathurst that we got there. We left at 4. We got there 5:15.
Lots of time.
We walk in, beautiful store. No one's helping us. There's like 6 people at the front desk all standing there. You know, I don't know about you, but as a customer, I feel really appreciated. It's Customer Appreciation Day. And they're all just standing there. And we like kind of like, you know, okay, well, where are the TVs? Like, we're on a mission for a TV. Where's the TVs? And we slowly make our way to the back because if you go to the store up there, it's laid out really funny. You know how some furniture stores, you walk in and there's kitchen stuff to your left and there's living room stuff right in front of you. And you can see the TVs from all the way there. They're in the back, but you can see them. And you know what I mean? You couldn't see the TVs. So you're kind of making your way through this maze like, oh, there's the TVs. So right away,
Ploy.
Amanda's saying, yeah, because they made you walk through all the other stuff they want you to buy.
Right.
Amanda, you know, like, where's the TV that you had picked out? And I was looking for like a Samsung QLED. Like, I was on a mission. Like, that's the one I want. The other ones are more expensive, but that's fine. I don't, you know, unless they're side by side and I need glasses now, I won't notice the difference. I just want a 4K. To me, the picture will be better than what I have. Right. And so I find it. There it is on the wall. And it's over $300 more than what is advertised on their website.
That's
funny.
That is funny.
No big deal. So a woman comes up who was a sweetheart, by the way. I feel like none of this is her fault. Just so you know, she seemed nice, but
wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. So I said, actually, like, I'd kind of picked out this TV online. I'd been looking at it for a while. And when I saw the sale and the flyer, I thought I'd come check it out. But is this the right price? She said, yeah, no, all these prices have been changed, but just a second. So she, you know, takes 5 minutes, comes back. She said, you know what? You're right. This price is wrong. It's supposed to be posted for lower.
Ding, ding, ding.
And in my mind, I'm like, win. If that's the price, I'm going to figure out a way to take it. Right? So she's like, you're right. The price is lower. Only issue is we don't have any.
What?
So it's day one of the sale.
Yeah.
They have none. They got me there. They don't have any. And she says, but if you order one, I can lock in that sale price for you, but you'll have to wait 4 to 6 weeks. And so I'm sitting there like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of turned off here. Like, I drove up here, my RAV4, seats are folded down, ready to go. Thought I was leaving with the TV today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on a mission to get a TV. Like, you know, sometimes you just made up your mind. It's happening. You know?
I've never done that.
Nope.
And anyway, and no big deal. And it's not, you know, it's not a $2,000 TV or anything like that. But you know what I mean? It's like what should have been a $1,400 TV on for about $1,000. And it's like, that's okay, great. You know what I mean? But you don't have any. She said, if you want, I can show you some comparables, like same price, and you can judge for yourself whether or not you like that. But I'll make sure I show you some that's in stock. So she brought me over to this LG that was also marked down, but not not marked down as much. But when I say not as much, it was the same price as the other one. So at regular price, it's actually less expensive if the other one is regular price. And I'm looking at them kind of like I'm looking at this one, I'm looking at that one, and I'm looking at this one, I'm looking at that one. And I'm like, I think I know why it costs less than the other one that I wanted. The picture's a little,
meh.
you know. And Amanda, you know how like sometimes the contrast is too cranked or something? Like,
Yeah.
there's all these camera angles and aerial shots going by to show you how good the TV is. And I'm like, yeah, trees are not that green. I've never seen a tree that color green in my life.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
I think some of
And
those,
Amanda kind of,
those are weird. Those
It's just my pet peeve. Yeah, my pet peeve with those is they show you these videos, like they're like nature videos. It's the close up of the lizard.
To try to
and
talk
you
you
count
into
all the scales on it, and it's
store display mode.
and like it's a purposely edited, put together video filmed with incredibly high quality camera. That nothing that your TV, your thing, your console that you could
live
buy
up to the display video.
Yeah, no, nothing will ever look that good. You know, It just drives me nuts. And I see it, I'm like, yeah, that looks great. You'll never see anything that looks like that.
Nope. So, you ready for this? I told you what time I landed there, right?
5:15.
And I said, before I even consider this TV, I said, it looks to me like the TV would fit in my car.
Uh-oh.
But I know when it's in the box, it's a lot bigger. Like, can we measure, like, would the box fit in my car? Like, because I don't want to not. And then when she walked away to go check, I said to Amanda, like, and I mean, if push comes to shove, you slide it out of the box and you lay it down on top of it, and I'll deal when I get home. It's not going to go anywhere. The kids aren't with us. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a deal breaker for me, but it'd be something nice if I could just. So she went out front and she said, actually, one of our salesmen here drives a RAV4 just like yours, and said, yeah, it'll fit, no problem. He's actually delivered a couple for people and no problem. I said, perfect. Sounds great. She said, so do you want that TV? I said, well, we're seriously considering it. Like, I'd like to talk to you about payment plans. And she goes, well, before I talk to you about payment plans, you can't pick up this TV tonight anyway. Our warehouse closed at 5.
I'm surprised you didn't look at them and go, well, apparently you just don't want to sell me anything here at the store.
So it's like, you remember when I said where I drove from and what I wanted to do?
Yeah.
Didn't care to mention that.
So Amanda called ahead. They're open until 6. And the best I can tell is that from 5 to 6 is browsing only. Because nothing on the floor is for sale. You pick it out, and those are floor models that would later be discounted. You have to go to the warehouse across town and get it. It's closed at 5, but you're open until 6.
Wow.
So,
oh dear,
Cameron, this was I feel like, I know you and Katie, I feel like you'd be proud over this, which is why I almost wanted to tell you the other night. I thought, no, I better save it for the podcast. So then I said to her, is it okay if I think for a second? And she said, yeah, sure. Like, if there any questions I can ask? I said, well, I'm just thinking, if I can't pick up a TV tonight anyway, why would I settle for the one that I actually didn't want? Why wouldn't I just order the one I wanted? Right? Because you're telling me I can't pick it up tonight anyway. She said, no. And I said, but is it something like, am I going to have to come all the way back to get this TV? Because I can't. And I explained to her, like, I'm a teacher. I'm not going to get here before 5. And you guys know I'm not bluffing on this. When she said, what about Saturdays? I was like, I am busy every Saturday. Like, I literally start crew again this weekend for another show. And I will be busy every Saturday from now. Like, I'm not getting up here to pick up.
But like,
she said, Cameron, so she says, well, I'll tell you what, we can deliver it for you. We go to Miramichi every Thursday.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Now, did you hear the wording of that? We go to Miramichi, regardless, every Thursday. All right. So then I got talking to Amanda, said, can we just have a minute? And the woman said yes. And she was nice. She was super nice. And I said to her, I was like, all right, well, let's ask her about the payment plans for this then, because that was the selling point, was like the big discount and then the no interest payments on the, right? Because I'm saying to Amanda, and Amanda's right too, she's saying like, okay, but what's the asterisk here? Like what's...
Yeah, where's the...
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop here that there's an extra charge, or you pay this, or you pay that, or, well, it's no interest if you do this.
Just waiting for it.
I'm waiting for the, right? Yeah, but Cameron, it was a double whammy. So she comes back, and I said, so I was looking into your payment plans. And she says, yeah, we do it through this other company, blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, but the flyer said there's interest-free plans. She said, yes, you can do an interest-free plan if you pay all the tax up front and you pay 10% of the TV up front with the tax. So she sat there with her calculator and said, so 10% of the cost of the TV plus the taxes plus an $80 delivery charge.
What? $80? But they're going anyway.
Cameron, the delivery charge is actually what broke me. You just told me. You go to Miramichi every Thursday. You go anyway. I was ready to leave with a TV, but your warehouse closed before you closed, and that's the only reason I can't get this TV. And now, rather than do this, offer to deliver it to me because you closed early, even though we called ahead, you're going to charge me $80 to deliver it on a run you're going on anyway. You just told me you go every Thursday. You guys see my point, right? You go every Thursday. I'm ready to pick up the TV. The seats are folded down right now, but no one can open the warehouse for me to get the TV. Well, that'll cost you $80 because you're closed, even though we called ahead. And Cameron, it was 10% of the cost of the TV up front with the tax. For every 12 months, you want to make the payments. So if you wanted to make the payments over 24 months, it was 20%. If you wanted to do it over 36 months, it was 30% plus the tax up front. So yes, it was no interest. It gets better, Cameron. It gets better. So then I started asking her about this payment plan. Are you ready for this one? That percentage of the amount of the TV is the amount you're borrowing, and it doesn't go against the balance that you owe on the TV.
What?
That is the cost of you taking a no-interest payment plan out with them.
It doesn't even go against interest?
So if I was going to do 3 years of interest-free payments, I could pay the company $300 in order to buy the TV for me, and I could make monthly payments to them over the next 3 years. Plus tax. And an $80 delivery charge.
So you pay them so that for the exclusive right to then later pay off the amount.
Well, you might as well have slapped interest on it. You might as well have not charged me and charged me interest till I paid it off.
Oh dear. Wow.
Anyway, so we said we need a minute to think about it.
A minute? You needed a minute?
Then you ran.
I didn't run because I was like, this. You know how like I'm still trying to compute and you're doing the math in your head, like.
Well,
this doesn't make sense to me. There's no way the deal's that bad. This is stupid.
If I was in your shoes at this point, I'd be trying to salvage, like, please tell me I'm just misunderstanding something here, so that I didn't waste
I was trying to compute
this trip. Yes,
I drove all the way to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like I'm just. So, and you know how like I can't say out loud in front of this lady, but I'm even standing there like I'm not by myself. So I'm like, is Amanda thinking the same thing I'm thinking right now? Like, is this really happening? We called ahead. You said you were open. We drove all the way up, but you're not really opening. When I talked to them online after, because I've maybe 5 times in my 40-year history of being on this earth have I ever sent like a complaint after something, and this is one of them. And I said, listen, my family owns a restaurant, and I cannot imagine them staying open till 9, handing out a menu and saying, sorry, the kitchen closed at 7.
Right?
Like,
am I wrong?
Staff, You're gonna pay staff to be there.
Oh yeah, no, the waitresses are here. Yeah, the waitresses are here.
They'll
show you the menu. They'll even talk about it.
Buy.
Oh dear.
They'll even
buy
give you
stuff.
the cost of what it would cost to order 4 rounds of fish and chips. But the kitchen's closed, so you can't have it. So that on top of, so I sat there and did the math real quick. And she's like, "Are you still thinking about it?" And I said, "No, I want Eddie here, but I got to do the math real quick because something's not adding up." You know what I mean? Like this still doesn't make sense. So then, like, I added real quick, and I'll try to be faster than this, but my gosh, I hope people find this half funny. But there's the cost of the TV that I'm not paying interest on, to be fair. So it's at least not accruing interest if I am willing to pay the fee up front. So it's not like the cost of the TV is going to become more because I'm paying a fee up front. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. So there's no tax on the fee. The tax is on the amount of the TV. And then you pay the fee. So I'm including the fee must have tax in it. And I'm trying to do the math on it. So that the cost of the TV plus the tax, if I was to take out a payment, is actually almost the same. It's barely a little bit more than what the regular price of the TV was. Then, so it's not on sale to me anymore in a weird way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then charge me $80 to get it to me after you were closed, and you just told me you're coming anyway. So to please the customer, you could just throw it on the truck.
That's the part that just keeps tripping me up. We're going anyway, and we go to Miramichi, but we're going to still charge you $80 because we're already going there. That'd be like saying, you know, "Hey, hop in. I'm going to Moncton." And when you get to Moncton, you just turn and look at them and go, "All right, where's my money?" It's like,
yeah.
What? Well, you said you already go. Yeah, but I want $50. Well, what for? Yeah. You said you were coming anyway. Just, because I can. That seemed like a just because I can moment, not just, what I mean?
And
like,
she said, "Well, we could deliver it to you." And part of me is like, "Well, gee, thanks. Like, if you're telling me, like, I'd like, don't worry about it. We'll get it to you. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah, that'll be $80. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm here ready. And like, it was even like the lead up to, she even said, "Well, what about this one? We have this one in hand." "Oh, will it fit in my car? I just went and checked. It will fit in your car." "Oh, great. Well, then maybe we'll take this one." "Yeah, well, the warehouse is closed, so it doesn't really matter that it fits in your car." "Lady, then why did you go check to see if it would fit in my car?"
She had to make sure that it was going to fit, though.
"Yeah, but I can't get it."
"I know.
Because you're closed."
You realize this is all literally the scene out of some movie where someone stops in a small town and gets this kind of runaround.
and then just freaks out.
It freaks out. Yeah.
So, and you know how like I'm not acting as annoyed or mad as I am yet because like I'm still in the store. So then Amanda, who's way nicer than me, God bless her, okay, love my wife, says, "Well, Tyson, like we can't just walk out." Like she was so nice. She really was. It's yeah, but there's store rules that like when she called ahead, it wasn't this lady that answered the phone and said, "Yes, we're open to 6." And she didn't make all the rules for what's in the flyer and it's not her fault the TV's not here. You know what I mean?
And sometimes I think those employees too, it's like they're saying the things they're supposed to say. And they don't understand they don't even understand how ridiculous that might be.
It actually sounds.
This is the rules, and I'm supposed to be nice to customers, so this is what I'm telling you.
The only part where she messed up, which is borderline funny, is like, "Yeah, I'll go see if it fits in your car." "Yes, it will fit in your car, but you can't get it anyway because the warehouse is closed." I don't care that it'll fit in my car.
Was my mind.
I didn't want it to be delivered to me, and then you load it in my car so I can drive around and say, "Hey, look what I got." Like, I don't care that it fits in my car now. Anyway, so we did the math, and it didn't make sense or whatever, and me and Amanda just went out. We got a bite to eat, because at this point, we hadn't eaten anything, and it's almost 6:00. Right? So we leave. We drive down from Bathurst to Miramichi. There's no construction, because the construction's done for the day, and we drove right through. We were home in 40 minutes. And on the way home, I said, what if when we get home, we go into Walmart?
Oh, no.
I'm just curious. So we walked into Walmart. We walked right to the back. Almost all the TVs are off the wall. There's barely any on display. And I'm curious about prices because they were advertising this big sale in Bathurst, and these prices are supposedly so good. And then I walked into Walmart, and there's like no TVs on the wall. And I'm like, okay, well, are they getting the new line of TVs in? Something's weird.
Something ain't right.
And then I walk across the back, and Cameron knows what it's like here because it's backed by the video games, right?
Yep.
And there's like 20 boxes of TVs.
That's what
that
I don't
aren't
get.
even
There's
on
so
display.
many boxes of TVs.
Yeah. And it's
But there's
like
no
there's not
TVs.
as many. Yeah, the wall's not full anymore. So it's half
No.
empty. So there's obviously more coming or whatever. You know what I mean? Because the wall's empty too. And as I comb through the boxes, there's the TV. That's the TV. That's the Samsung TV I wanted. That's it. For
They had it?
$100 less than what the sale was in Bathurst.
That would have been your gas buddy right there, buddy.
I looked online, and that is not the price it said online. And I'm looking at this tag, and that is what the price said. Then I had the lady scan it, and it said that price that the tag said. And then the lady at Walmart said, I just kind of looked at Amanda. We didn't even get to talk about it, boys. The lady said, oh, are you thinking about a TV? I kind of looked at Amanda for, you know how you lock eyes and you talk without talking for all 3 seconds? I just stared at her for a sec, looked back at the lady and said, I'll take it. And I just bought it. Just bought this TV.
Jeremy, there's something about the pull and the allure of Walmart that just walk in. Yep.
And then I went home.
I'll take
and
one.
I set up the TV, and then I messaged them to say, like, just so you know, I left and bought a TV because I almost wanted them to know. You know what I mean? I should have even sent them pictures. I almost wanted them to know, like, you advertised this big sale. You sent me down this path of, like, I thought I was coming home with the TV. Like, never mind. I'll use the gift cards I saved for something else, blah, 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 blah. And if I can do payments over time, even if there is a small fee, but that was not a small fee, I'll go get a TV today. You know what I mean?
My grandfather did the same thing, and my grandfather was the nicest, mildest, quietest person. And we drove to Fredericton to get a minivan because they wouldn't put a car starter in for nothing. And he went to Fredericton, bought it, drove to the Dodge dealership here, pulled in. The guy goes, "It's an awful nice van." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "See what installing an auto start will get you." And he put it in reverse and drove away.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, but you had to know my grandfather was so out of character. Like, never would in a million years. So I figured he would have done that.
But you know how, like, if it was one thing, Cam, I probably wouldn't have messaged them.
But if it was so many things, yeah.
We called ahead. You said you were open. I get there. You don't have the TV. Would you like this one? Yeah, I will take that one. Well, you can't get that anywhere. Why? Well, the warehouse is closed. Okay, well, let's go back to this other one. Can you order it? Yeah, I can order it, but there's a big fee. What do you mean there's a big fee? Well, for every 1 year, it's another fee.
It's
okay,
like,
but you'll bring it to me? Yep, $80. Like, you know what? I'm out of here. You'll bring it to me for $80.
I honestly can't believe you got that far.
Oh, man. That's fantastic.
Am I wrong?
So for contrast, my TV died a couple of weeks ago.
Here we go.
So I was like bugging Heather. It's like, "Oh, what about this? What about that?" She's like, "I don't care what you want. Just get something." So I just went online, click, pick up at store tomorrow. Didn't even look at TVs in the store. Didn't talk to a person or a sales associate.
Really?
I drove up at lunch hour the next day to the store. Didn't even know if it would fit in the car. Already picked it out, and the guy's wheeling it out in the cart. And I'm looking, I'm like, "You think that's going to fit?" He's like, "I don't know."
Oh, my
So we
God.
just tilted it up and slid it just perfect fit like a glove.
Well, I knew mine would fit at Walmart because the lady in Bathurst measured for me. Told me it would.
Gary just waited to the end just to spike on your head at the end. Oh, by the way, this is how it is done.
Whole thing took 20 minutes.
Plus.
You do see my point in the annoyance, though, right? Was that
I'm not going to disagree with any of that.
Listen, if we the icing on the cake, though, like if we lived in town, like let's say I lived in Bathurst, it seems like a far less of a big deal because it's like, okay, well, I'll come back tomorrow. I don't live there.
Yeah, I feel like if I went to Fredericton or I went to Moncton to pick something up, and then when he got there,
put
like, yeah,
that flyer
we just sold
in
it.
my mailbox in Miramichi, advertising to Miramichiers. Then we called ahead to see if you were open. You said, yep. And we drove all the way up there. No, you're half open.
They even used to offer like a gas card if you would go to Bathurst and buy stuff.
And if you bought something.
There. If you bought something, they'd give you like $100 gift card, gas card.
Or something for gas, because you drove up and got it. Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's a calamity of errors right there, man. That's a lot.
So they messaged me right back and they asked me what happened. No, they didn't. They didn't answer me back at first. So complete, almost like a dig to me. I said to Amanda the next day, like, on Facebook was one of their ads. And people are commenting lucky or something like that, hoping to win a gift card from. And I commented, like, couldn't pay me to go back or something like that. Like, and then they instantly messaged me and then asked me what happened. And it's like, but now you're messaging me. I messaged you and you didn't answer me. So when they asked me what happened, I told them almost like an itinerary of what happened. 10 days go by. They never answered me back.
They won't.
They did after I said something else.
Yes.
So then I chimed back in with like, so, you know what I mean? Oh, man. So sorry. This went to another folder. There's no other folder on Facebook. What do you mean it went to another folder?
Yeah.
Like it's...
we're
so sorry about that. They'll inform the store. They're sorry for the misunderstanding. It's like, yeah, no, I don't care.
Man, there's
the store. I'll never be back.
There's a motel in Montreal I give you if you want to email them too. Called Cozy Stay.
I thought it was pepperoni.
Didn't work when I did it.
Wild.
So
Jeremy, I was never more proud of you in that moment in my entire life. It was like, I was like, hey, what was that little nuclear explosion from Moncton?
Oh man,
you did word that well. You did handle that.
You did word it well
because it was just enough spite in the email.
Polite aggression.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever done that, and then nothing happened. But you know,
you did.
Well, in those times, like you're so mad, but what did I expect them to like? We're so sorry. Here's a free barbecue. Like no, they're not. They're not going to give me anything. They don't care.
Here's a free picture of a free barbecue. Next time you buy something, we'll give you free shipping.
And then the more time I had to think about it, I felt like your flyer and everything is like trying to trick people into buying your stuff.
Yeah,
it's this big sale, but your sale price isn't even as cheap as Walmart's price, and it's on sale. And then you get people there advertising in big, bold letters, equal payments, no interest. And then if you look at the flyer, like the tiniest little, like, get out your bifocals, fine print on the, some limitations may apply, blah, 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 blah. And then you get up there, if you pay 30% of the cost up for, is that on the balance? Oh, no, that's the fee.
That I just couldn't get. It's like, what? Yeah, it's a way to get people who don't read that stuff just to sign a contract. And then later on, they're like, where'd all these fees come from? Well, you signed it and you knew that. And it's like, okay. Salespeople, some. Can't
believe your uncle treats you like that.
Family, man.
Yeah, you send him some pretty nasty messages, Uncle Leon.
Well, Jay, you can be a little meaner to your family.
Yeah. You would have been proud of me though. Do we get time for one more of these?
Heck yeah.
Oh boy. I'm gonna send you a picture here of something I did.
A picture of something you did.
I know you did because I think I just heard that in my ear, so I don't know what.
You did not.
I did, and it's way.
Whoa! I don't think that can handle that trailer. I'm just saying.
No way.
My son is
okay. So it's not new. It is not new. It's
slightly used.
2016
That's a 2016?
Yep. It has 170,000 kilometers on it. So it's not new.
Okay.
So, anyways.
It looks a little lifted. Are you trying to compensate for something?
No, I know. I thought of that. Anyway, it doesn't have a lift on it. It's just looks taller. Anyways.
So for the people that are listening to this on a podcast, Jay has decided to buy himself a 4-door Silverado in red.
Fire engine red.
Fire engine red.
So it's not lost on me that it's completely 100% Ferrari red, and it could have the Ferrari on the side of it.
We get a sticker for you.
Did they not have any papaya Silverado?
I checked. I said, can you imagine the money I would have paid?
Papaya.
The credit I would have used. No. No,
there's Jeremy going again, Tyson. Not liking money, trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. So I've been pining after a truck the day that I bought a Mazda like 8 years ago. And so anyways, this was the perfect thing. The guy that had it, this is not the point of this, but the guy that had it before was like an old guy, one owner, old guy, which that's what you want when you buy something old. And trucks are a little different. I mean, the motors, they've been around forever. They go forever. As long as it doesn't rust out, it's going to be so. Anyways, guy from work come with me. I've been checking. I saw this. And he's built, he's kind of like your father, Tyson. He's built his own truck. He's a genius with this stuff. So I brought him along with me and we checked the rust. He's like, man, it's in good shape. He actually recently repainted underneath, so it all looks almost brand new, and there's no holes or nothing, no rust around the quarter panels, under the fenders, all that stuff. And I'm like, man, this is like too good to be true.
Yeah.
So where does this go? And it's so stupid.
Yeah, too good to be true makes me nervous.
Well, thankfully it's not. Anyway. So anyways, long story short, I trade in the Mazda. I get this thing. I'm so excited. And one of my stupid little things is I'm like, I'm going to finally have Android Auto. Because this Mazda that I've had is like it's like that old like dot matrix display.
Yep.
It had power mirrors and heated mirrors, which for years I just thought I was like the king of the road because I had heated mirrors. You know what I mean? In the wintertime, you press the button.
The
ice melted off.
I have heated mirrors.
That was so right. So that's all it had. It was a base model. And we had it forever. It served us well. And so
did you know, Jay? Jay, did you know that Ford has heated bumpers?
Tailgates too.
Yeah, so your hands don't get cold when you're pushing them.
You're pushing it, yeah. Anyway, so the whole point of this is like I'm gonna have Android Auto because I had looked it up. That year, the 2016 years that had Android Auto. And I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I can finally join like the rest of the world and have my maps on there and all this stuff.
I know. Yeah. I remember when I jumped. But
anyway, so it's stupid, right? So I'm excited. So this thing's in great condition inside. I'm just thrilled with this thing. And so we get it home and like, whatever. And I plug my phone in and like there's an icon that's supposed to turn into an Android Auto logo when you plug it in. It wasn't working. I'm like, oh, that's okay. So I tried a different cable. It doesn't work. And I'm like, it's weird. I wonder. So I check online. I'm like, no, this year is supposed to.
I have an idea where this one's going, Jay.
It's supposed to have it. It said it in the ad. I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. So then I find out that in the 2016 year is when they started putting that. They had CarPlay for that previous year, but Android Auto they only started putting in partway through the year. And I had one that was apparently too early in the year to have it, so it just didn't have it. So I'm like, oh man, that's annoying. But it's supposed to have it. The ad said it was supposed to have it. And so, the part that I forgot to mention was I had called my sales guy and I said, right after like a day or two after, I was like, oh, it's supposed to have Android Auto, but I guess it doesn't. but like it's the model you're supposed to have it. So like, could I just come by the dealer and have the firmware updated on the radio? He's like, oh, I never heard of that, but yeah, I mean, that should be fine. Yeah. And he very clearly says, yeah, bring that by. We wouldn't charge you for that.
Oh,
great.
No.
Thank you. Perfect. Great. Thank you. So, so I hang up. He's about to go. He's like telling me, he's going on vacation. He's going whatever. Great. Yep. Cool. Have a great time. Thanks for everything. Yep. Awesome. So I hang up and like, probably like I'm sitting there for a few minutes and I'm just like, so I wonder if he's going to remember that he said there would be no charge for that. And I wonder how much this is just going to be me standing there saying, well, he said there'd be no charge. And then I'm the only one saying it because he said like, just drop by the dealer, they'll do it for you, whatever. So anyways, I make an appointment and for the following Monday. And he was just getting back in that Monday or whatever. So I had first thing in the morning, 8:30. I pull in there and I had talked to the service guy on the phone. So he knew I was coming. And so he double checks the software and he's like, yeah, no, he's like, I haven't really had to do that before, but you're right. He's like, that's the previous version. And I said, cool. Yeah. So I said, just, I was talking to the sales guy. I said his name. I said, you talk to him. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but he said it was no charge. Just saying. So the guys kind of look at me like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, here we go. Anyway, so I take the shuttle back to work or whatever. And it went in at 8:30. The sales guy calls me at it's like 11:30 now. He's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, good. He's like, yeah, so you're getting that update to your radio, eh? Yeah. He said, well, I never said that wouldn't, there was no charge for that. He's like, normally that's that's something that we'd have to charge you for. Like that'll be $150.
Woo.
And I was kind of like half wondering if this was going to happen. So I looked at the time and I'm like, this is 11:30. It went in at 8:30 and you're calling me now. So I'm like, no problem. Take it out, park it. I'll come back, get it. I'm not paying $150 for Android Auto. Don't need it. That's fine. And then he was kind of like, because it's probably already installed and they already did it. You know what I mean? So he's like, well, whatever. He's like, well, it's not really something that you're like anyway. And I'm like, yeah, no, fine. And I didn't argue. I was just like, just leave it outside. I'll come back, get it. I'll for $150, I'll get an aftermarket radio. I'll put that towards something else, like whatever. Don't worry about it. So he's like, well, anyways.
Well played, by the way, Jay. Well played.
right?
I realized what time it was and how long they've had it.
Yeah, and how he's calling. And anyways. So I wasn't mean or nothing. So I said, it said in the ad. It said in the ad that it had it. So I kind of was planning on it. It's not why I bought it. But it's like, it's supposed to have it. You advertised that it had it. Yeah, well, okay. Well, let me talk to the manager again there. And
it's already done.
And yeah.
They did it. It's already done.
It's already on there. It's been sitting out there for probably an hour and a half.
Yep.
While anyway, they argued about what they're going to say to you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he calls me back. He's like, yeah, no, I talked to the manager again there. And, we really want to get off on the right foot with you. So, yeah, we'll do that for nothing. I'm like, meaning you'll give me the keys and I'll leave because it's already done. So anyway, he said, and to be fair to him, he said, you know what? He said, I went and looked and he said, we always show that those years have the Android Auto. He said, you're right about that. He said, so don't worry about it. That one's on us. And I had since gone and looked at there was a technical bulletin for it. And it does specifically say that after a certain period into 2017, I think it was like April 27th, this is 2016. It does say that after this date, it is a customer paid upgrade. It says that right in the bulletin. So
Oh, wow.
So it's just he made the mistake of saying there'd be no charge for that before looking into it. And then he tried to backpedal and hoped I would just pay the money anyway. So anyways, when I kind of called his bluff on it, he anyway, small deal, it's not a big deal, but I was just like, nope. And and like I resisted because I'm normally the type of person that if it saves me some hassle, I will pay a little bit extra just to get out of a situation.
Yes.
But in this case, I was like,
no. To be fair to, I'm not trying to be an idiot, but to be fair to the salesman.
Yes.
How often does he have to deal with that?
Probably
exactly.
Probably
rarely.
pretty stinking rarely.
And that's
so
why
it's not even a weekly thing for him to have to deal with. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, probably amongst the four of us, there probably could have been a plan formulated that one of us would know a person that would know how to do something like that.
Well, and all the stuff I'd read online, the thing is with a lot of auto, especially GM and that, they've got that stuff so locked down. It's so proprietary.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're just plugging in and running some software and that's it. So maybe someone's got that copied somewhere, but even really it's not even that big of a deal.
$150 for that.
Well, it's everything you do at a dealer's.
What would it have taken?
Right?
You open it up, you put the harness on, you click the computer button. Yeah. It just uploads it in split second and then you're done. It's like,
and you're done. So
how does that cost $150?
Yeah. So anyway, and yeah.
On a flip, I can't, because someone would get in trouble, so I got to be really careful. But the salesperson I bought my Toyota from, whether or not it was that Toyota or not, it came with free XM radio, but it ran out in 3 months. And they said, you ready for this, Jay, for stuff running out? But listen, what you do is whenever it runs out, if you send me a text back at this number, I'll just give you a new dealer code, okay? And you can just keep renewing for 3 months.
Oh, really?
Like, don't worry about it. Like, we'll keep you an XM radio. It's fine.
Oh, boy.
Did not care what was trying to make the sale, right? Like,
yeah.
Wow. I don't listen to XM radio. Like, I plug my phone in and away I go.
Yeah.
Either music or podcasts.
That's in the same line of like, don't worry about that. Just swing by. We'll put that on for you, no charge. And then when you went to go do it, it would turn into a big deal.
That would be my thing. That would be, I told you that. I can't do that.
Yeah. Anyways, wow. I think this guy, it's not that he was doing anything nefarious. I think he just was about to go on vacation and was just like, just keep this guy happy. We'll do that.
He probably said something in passing.
Exactly.
Then they installed it, went to bill it, and then had to call him and say, so this guy said it was no charge?
Exactly.
You said no charge? And they're like, no.
Exactly.
Talk to his manager, like, no, you have to charge for that. And then he's in too deep now. That's why he hung up with you and said, okay, well, I'll go talk to the manager, because it's like...
Yeah. And in my mind,
he said, never mind, I'll come get it if it's already installed.
And in my mind, too, I'm like, dude, if you get trouble from your boss over $150,
pretty ridiculous when you just traded in the vehicle.
Good grief. Anyway, so
again,
that's the story.
Like you said, what's $150, right? But some people draw a line in the sand, and other people are like, we'll do that, no problem.
Yeah, and I was hoping that's what they would say, but anyway.
Speaking of drawing a line in the sand, I think the time has come that I can officially bring up something to Cameron. In the last episode of the podcast, we said, if Cameron brings this up, we will know he listened to the whole thing that we recorded without him. That Tyson would have to buy him a rib dinner.
That's right.
And you've never brought it up. I saw you Friday night. We've been recording for an hour and 20 minutes. And you even said at the beginning, like, you bunch of jerks, I listened to the end of that, and I'm sitting there like, did he?
Is he going to
Did he
claim
listen
his
to
prize?
it?
Of course.
And we even asked the listeners, like, please don't say anything to him. Like, please don't wreck this. Like, he needs to hear this. I think Jeremy used the words, like, he needs to hear this organically. Like, it just needs to happen. Like, don't ruin it for us and tell him, like, make sure you mention Tyson Theriault. Like, please don't. And here we are, just about to wrap it up. No mention of the rib dinner.
Meh.
Did you get some on the way?
Did you get some ribs?
I got some at the St. Hubert in Quebec City.
Nothing.
Ate the whole thing.
Nothing says gourmet ribs like Street Hubert.
Actually, their ribs are better than Swiss Chalet's ever wished to be in.
Oh, man.
Keeps rhyming off fast food chains, right? Just the best ribs.
Do you know there are no...
I had the best brisket of my life at Subway.
There are no Swiss Chalets in Quebec?
No, there isn't, eh?
You know, I don't know why?
The name Chalet? Is it because they're Swiss?
Swiss Chalet Swiss Chalet came from Ontario, and we figured that Quebec had St. Hubert's, and they're like, well, we're stealing their idea because St. Hubert's started first. And they're like, well, you know, we stole the idea. We really just can't, you know, pop stores up in their province. So we'll skip their province entirely. So they totally left Quebec out and they did all the other places.
Is that really why?
It's quite a few years. It's a couple years, like 5 years difference or 6 years difference. That's what Katie said. She said, that makes sense. She goes, think about it. She goes, they had this business. Then all of a sudden they did it. And it was kind of like,
St. Hubert's trademarked rotisserie chicken in Quebec.
Might be.
There's a lot of companies though that, like Cameron, they're not even in Canada, but they ship to Canada, and they will not ship to Quebec. Like you'll see it on the thing, like residents of Quebec need not apply. Blah 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 blah. And I wonder if it's a bilingual. Well, it's tax and. If I'm legally selling it in Quebec, all my packaging has to be different. Yeah. All my stuff has to be different. So I just assume bypass Quebec because, I
had Street Hubert's today.
Did you really?
Yep.
We had it in Bathurst after the fiasco at Uncle Leon's. True story.
One of the perks of my job is we get salespeople that come in and try to swoon us and just specifying their stuff. And so we had one booked for a lunch and learn book for this afternoon that we all forgot about. And so everyone comes in, right? Everyone comes into work on Monday and you're all sitting there. It's just like the Monday blues. And then our team lead sends a message in the team's group and he's like, so everyone want to get in their St. Hubert's order? And all of us at the same time are like, oh yeah! I said I've never seen such an instant morale boost for a Monday.
It's funny, man, because I've had it's like a weird thing. When district meets with us over something and I get pulled out, right? So I'm an SPR and I'll get pulled out. There'll be 8 of us pulled out. It seems to be pizza delight. When it's visiting teachers to visit my classroom to see what we're doing, it's Chinese. And then if it's someone visiting from Fredericton, it could be either or. Last time it was also Chinese. But the last group, I know what you mean, Jay. They came to see what we were doing. And then at lunch proceeded to just like try to sell us software that we could be using in the classroom for a solid hour. But I got free Chinese. So
yep, that's it. It's
and
like,
it wasn't all you could eat, but it might as well have been all you can eat. You know what I mean? Put out the spread. And away you go. And I will sit there and listen to every word you say as I'm on my 9th chicken gorging.
That's the way these guys, I mean, the whole point of it is like, it's quite clear that they're there to tell you about their product, but it's like, in exchange for giving us your lunch hour, we'll let you order whatever you want. So it's a good trade-off.
Yeah. And to be fair, I don't know what it's like at your work, but otherwise I would have a 50-minute lunch and I could leave.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I have to eat lunch.
Some people run errands.
I'm giving up my lunch to hear your pitch here. So the least you can do is buy me lunch.
Yeah. Like, listen, man, you're a nice guy, but not going to give you my lunch so you can tell me about stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
if you're willing to feed me,
but
all right.
Yep.
One of the guys I raced with online, he's from England, and he said they had a team building exercise over the weekend. I was like, oh yeah, what's that like over there? He goes, well, he took us to the train, took us to France, then took us to Spain. He said, and during this thing, he said they paid for our food. We went through wineries, paid for all our booze. I was like,
oh
there's
yeah,
a whole weekend like that? He goes, yep. I said, well, what was their sale pitch? I have no idea. He said, I was blitzed.
Oh, dude, it's insane. So I thought about, okay, anyway, I know we're running long, but I've thought about, because we get these too. We get these, like, we'll get factory trips because we spec all kinds of lighting and power and communication stuff, all kinds of stuff. So, like, it's a whole whack of different companies. Lighting tends to be competitive. There's a lot of people that manufacture lighting and stuff. So it's very competitive. So they're the ones working hardest trying to get your attention. That being said, there was the last thing I went to. It was in Minnesota last fall. And it was actually Rolls-Royce. They make more than cars. They also make generators. But it's the same. It's Rolls-Royce. So, anyways,
like the Rolls-Royce.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a sub brand called MTU. Anyway, so MTU is a generator that we spec. So the sales rep for that area says we've got this every year where they make these in the US. It's a German company, obviously. So they do it in October during this October, like, it's basically Oktoberfest, but they fly you down there. You get a tour of their factory. You see how the generators are made. They tell you about how well it's all made and what products they use. And it's tested to this, and you see the tests. So they wine and dine you so that hopefully you'll go home and be so excited about them that you'll be like, these are the only generators we should ever spec again. And you know what I mean? And then all you got to do is spec their stuff like one time, and it's more than paid for, like, whatever it costs to get you down there. Because you'll be going down there and you're like, man, this flight, well, this is a nice hotel. Well, look at all this food they're giving me. You know what I mean? They're giving you all this stuff. And you're like, oh, it's so expensive. And, like,
but it's
who knows
Rolls-Royce.
But, like, they get one or two people to spec one of their products after putting on a super expensive event like that. And it's like, it was well worth it to them, right? But it's the best trip you'll ever have. You don't pay for anything. And you stay in nice places, and you fly on nice planes, and you eat good food. It's great.
So what you're saying is we need to find a company that does that with sporting events.
Yeah, well, we need to find a company that needs to wine and dine podcasters, and then we'll all go on a big trip.
Like, I wonder if we can get sponsored by JetBlue or Scotiabank or
Rolls-Royce,
Bell, or
Ball Recycling.
Vodafone.
Oh, there you go.
Telmex. Claro.
Jokes aside, if someone said, hey, like, I would send you to the next F1 race, but we want you to vlog everything and wear our stuff, I would be the most shameless person anybody's ever seen.
We all would, bud. Like,
Yeah,
I'd even wrap my car.
I didn't know what you were going to say. You were going to rap.
Wow.
I don't know why. No reason to think that.
No reason, just nope. Okay.
Anyway.
Yikes. See, I'm not in an industry that even remotely does stuff like that, Jay. I don't get those things.
I wasn't before, but I was like, okay, so you get into a business where, you know, you can directly affect how much money other companies make. then you get treated good.
Imagine how politicians must feel.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
No, but like if I've been wined and dined a little bit and I don't have a say in like the software I can buy for I'm just a teacher that can recommend it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the final say either, Jay, you can just kind of sort of recommend that we spec this. And it's worth it to like fly you, buy you dinners, do whatever.
Well,
can you imagine if you're a politician that could pass legislation?
Yeah. And change the course of
a company.
entire futures of yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure it doesn't happen.
No.
They never allow it. Never allow it.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, they'd never. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's good people. They're all good.
Yeah, they're all great. Yeah.
So on that note, we going to land this plane or what?
So
Yeah.
I'll land the plane with, I hope people have listened to this far. It's, according to our analytics, there's only a few of you. But
I think
next episode will be our 60th episode. And will be our 4th anniversary all at the same time. Somehow the stars have aligned, and our 4-year anniversary is also going to be episode 60. And we've got a couple surprises in store, maybe some discount codes and some, you know what I mean? We're going
right
to
now
do
they're
the
like
Super
discount for
Shredder
what?
episode. Oh, you'll find out. You don't need to be a jerky about it, Jeremy.
It's not trying to sell you TV.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get sponsored by Samsung by next episode. I don't know.
0. Yeah, we'll give you 0% interest and no payments
For the first day.
There will be a fee though, based on 10% of the price.
Wild.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
2 people who are listening.
Going to be a celebration.
Analytics say there are at least 8 Jeremy that listen the whole way through.
Including us.
Yeah, well, it is. That's 4 of
right
us.
Now.
That's 4 of it's us. Yeah. Not Cameron, but
you're gonna have to go back and listen now.
To be fair to Cameron, I believe it was literally in the last 60 seconds. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I
He could have listened all the way to the end and went, okay, well, they're ending the show, and shut it off, and it was right there. So,
which is just funny because
just mean.
Even the people who record the podcast don't listen to the end.
So weird. Sometimes listening back to hear your own voice. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I sometimes listen to our own show, but I like listening to the old ones because I don't remember some of the stuff now that we're almost. This is episode 59.
Yeah.
Like when we started this 4 years ago, we didn't know there'd be a pandemic and all these other, you know what I mean? Like it's, yeah.
There was one point I knew roughly what was on all of them, and now I have no idea. I don't remember.
I remember moments, like I could rhyme off probably a top 10 moments, and I wouldn't know how to even start finding them now.
Yeah.
I don't know what episode that is yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kind of cool problem to have, though, at this point, but.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
YouTube's been a slow grow, but we're a little over 1,700 followers now. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something.
Not minus.
We're
100 Wendell Clarks.
100 Wendell Clarks.
100 Wendell Clarks. I only have one Wendell Clark down here, Gary. Back there somewhere. I need a name for this guy. I need a name for him. I don't know.
You don't mind having him right behind you that whole time?
Well, Gary, you've watched Doctor Who.
Wink.
I keep waiting for the arm to come up and touch me on the shoulder or something.
How do you feel about Pacioretty taking number 67?
Man, that's some shame.
Former Habs captain.
Yep, former Habs captain Max
gets through a tryout with the Toronto Maple Leafs and makes his number 67.
All I can hear in the back of my head is George going, "She's sticking it to me."
Can I be real honest, Jay? You're talking about like social media being boring and stuff. Toronto, the management in Toronto, who said, "Yeah, good idea, take 67, sure, why not?" Like, who let that one through? Like,
What
you can
could
have
that
68.
possibly mean?
You know what I mean? You can have, and then scores 2 goals last night. By the way,
Yep.
2. Matthews, Nyes, Nylander, patches.
He'll probably end the season with 19 goals.
Oh man,
Gary.
67 assists.
Just so his stat line says 1967. Yeah.
Wow. That's a fantastic. Yeah.
That would probably be a career year for him, but
Yeah.
It might be.
Yes. I couldn't believe he had 2 last night, by the way. So I'm pretty sure they got him for like a grinder role, right?
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Before he got injured, and now no one's listening. Before he got injured,
this is like second breakfast.
Yeah, in Carolina, he had scored like, I want to say it was like 4 goals in 2 or 3 games or something. So like, if he picks up with that at all, I mean, despite his age, I mean, he scores like.
Well, he scored 2 last night.
15 and 20. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He was not. He's older. He's going to seem older than I think he actually is. So, anyway.
But he's been saying health-wise, he's never felt better, that he feels great. Like everything's.
Yeah. It was
feels better than he thought he would coming out of camp. He thought he'd be hurting, but he's not.
He hung on. He missed the year, came back with Carolina, played a handful of games, was gone again for another. Basically, the rest of that season. But I don't know. I think he can still score. Anyways, bye everybody.
Good night, Uncle Leon.
Well, thanks
Good
for
night,
listening,
Uncle
watching. Depends which one you were doing. If maybe not both.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Night, Jeremy.
Bye.
Night, Gary. Night, Cameron.
Night, John Boy.
Gosh, I hope that worked.
I saw where you were looking. Anyway.
Usual
bye, everybody.
position.
See ya.
When I meet my idols, I just immediately trust fall. Just fall into their arms, see if they catch you.
That would have been a good idea.
You can see Gary going with the hand.
He is a short man. I would have destroyed him.
You just wasted some of your life listening to the Bush League podcast. You must stop what you're doing right now. Like and subscribe and leave a 5-star rating. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and like us on Facebook.